The best person who we can ask this question is the DCI, number one, and also the president. You said you will leave no stone unturned. There are few stones that are lying with cobwebs here. Why haven't they been turned? You understand? But some of these institutions are letdowns. Because when an institution goes to speak in public about something that public knows it is obviously not true, what are you telling the members of the public? That you are a kangaroo institution. You understand what I'm saying? Let everybody play their part.
Kila mtu abebe
mzigo yake.
What do you think when it comes to the economy, even as we wind up that the discussion of the economy, what do you think? Because you mentioned about the handling of taxation, expanding. As you speak right now, we need
to freeze. We need to freeze things that are making Kenyans poorer. We need to freeze borrowing. You understand? We need to lower taxes. We need to encourage small business, even finance, so that people can start generating revenue, becoming a little richer, and paying a little more taxes. You must plan for tax growth without increasing taxes. You understand what I'm saying? Is it possible truly? And I sometimes understand that government has to prove to their financiers that they have the capacity to pay. And how do you prove? By increasing taxes and saying, last year we collected so much. We have added this little tax of 3% tax, turnover tax. So from here, we should be getting extra revenue to be able to pay you. You understand? But we should also be able to negotiate with these countries and say, this is a very bad time, COVID, etc., etc. We're heading to an election. We have this turmoil, and you are our partners. Can you freeze? Can you give us some, some holiday? Some repayment holiday, and so that we can recover and continue paying what it is that we owe you. Or just go crazy and say, we'll not pay you. We'll not pay you. We can't pay. Yes, unajua hata hapa ikifika kiwango benki huwezi lipa. Wanachotanga vitu yako wanapeleka kwa auctioneer. Saa hii inaenda kwa auctioneer. I told financing institutions like banks, those who have loans, who have lent money to Kenyans and they are not able to pay. I said, look at my Twitter handle. I said, renegotiate your loans with your loanees. You understand what I'm saying? So that if they were paying 500,000 a month, they cannot have the capacity to pay 500 now. They're only able to pay 200. Renegotiate, increase the duration of the loan, so that you don't kill this businessman and you do not lose your money. Right now, the auctioneers are saying, our grounds are full, please negotiate. So I had seen 5 years ago.
You saw this coming?
I saw it coming. So those banks who heeded my advice and started renegotiating, they are struggling, helping each other with their clients. There are times that a bank has to pump a little more money into a bad loan for it to become a good loan. This is not rocket science. No.
It's common sense.
Common sense.
All right. There are some people requesting that maybe you can remove your mask so they can see you well. I don't know how safe you feel.
It's not that I don't feel safe. It's only that I'm a little bit clever. Yes. I know that if I get sick, I will suffer. But for the sake of them, I will remove it for a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. At least we also fumigate every weekend, so it's safe enough.
Weekend is not enough. We should fumigate after every show.
After every show, we do fumigation. All right, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
Now, if you are, you mentioned about, I'll ask you a question, if you are president, what did you do now? But before you get there, Kibaki was here.
Yes.
And during Kibaki's time, you could find banks giving money on the streets, stalls everywhere, KCB, Equity, come we give you money. What do you think Kibaki got right that Uhuru did not get it? Because let's look at Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta. Kibaki inherited an economy that was on its knees, from 24 years rule of Daniel Moi. We can argue that. It was an economy that was struggling even to finance itself. But Kibaki in 10 years was able to revive the economy and finally people could feel, Kenyans could feel.
I probably think one answer,
what do you think
one quick answer, one sentence that will answer that is probably that this administration has bitten more than it can chew. And that's it. But also, if you look at the kilometers of roads that the Kibaki regime did, the service what the Kenyatta regime has done, these guys have done more.
They've done more.
They've done more. If you look at corruption during Kibaki's time, these guys have done more. I don't know whether you've heard me. Corruption was a little bit less during Kibaki's time.
More kilometers and more corruption.
Yes, there's more corruption. So it's a multiplicity of factors that has caused these problems. But it is never too late to, if you do not look back and try and understand what happened, you'll never be able to correct a problem that you do not understand. And what am I saying? If you go to a doctor, you don't go and tell a doctor, I can't be now, And if you give me penicillin, I'll be fine. You understand? Go and tell the doctor the problem that you have, the symptoms, and the things that you have done, Bitok, in the last few months for you to feel the way you feel, so the doctor can give you proper diagnostics of what you are suffering from. You understand? But be that as it may, we have a great country. We have a country that has potential. You understand? But we have people who see opportunities and run. When we needed more maize, we had the story of Galana. A huge and great project. What happened to it? What happened to Galana?
For the longest time,
money was pumped in there. What happened to Galana?
Yeah.
Yes, it is because people ran there and first secure their own personal interests and put their interest before the interest of the country. How would the president know when he's sitting there and he has already signed out a project? It is though that he has entrusted in following up of these projects. You understand? But the blame goes to who? The administration. Kama sasa naona kitu ya ajabu. Ya ajabu kabisa. Watu wanasema no, hii regime, hapana, Uhuru amefail. You understand? Uhuru amefail. Who has failed? If there is failure, it is failure of the Jubilee administration.
Nasikia siku hizi inaitwa Jubinasa, iko mpaka na wale watu wa opposition.
Hapana, NASA, Tinga is just a clever man. He knows when and how to enter where he wants to go. You cannot assume Tinga. He's a serious politopreneur. He's a serious politopreneur. He knows what to do and when and how to do it. But at the end of it all, if they have failed, you'll never be able to separate the ministers of Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta with Uhuru Kenyatta himself. Neither will you be able to separate Mheshimiwa William Ruto from Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta. Yesterday I was on radio and I said, you guys, I was there when you sat together to form Jubilee. I was there. Let no one lie to you. I was there. And I drove to William Ruto in Uhuru Kenyatta's car. We were only about 6 or 7. I am a friend of Raila Odinga. The only thing we don't share is political ideology. I am a friend of Uhuru Kenyatta, the president. I am willing to call these guys and we sit and discuss our country. Put all our self-interest out. Can we discuss Kenya? Can we discuss peace? Do we really want to take another set of Kenyans to the ICC? And I'm glad, when we came back from ICC, because I was there, people said we need to get out of this thing. This thing is not good for African nations. I'm telling you, it is the one that keeps us safe. Yes.
The ICC?
Yes.
Others will be done.
It is a deterrent to possible very bad things. Because that's where we think. We think you must get to the seat. And why I tell Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta and Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga that BBI has failed to address a few issues. One very serious issue, although it is being passed to be dealt with later through legislation, is the issue of elections. Because we fight because of elections. If there will be a fight next year, and I hope it won't happen, it will be because of elections. You saw Trump trying very hard not to leave the White House. But their election laws, the election laws are such that if you do not agree with the results, You request instant review. You understand? Recount of your ballots. Instant. So that the elections generally have finished, but you're not satisfied. You call for a recount. Of course, they say you pay for it. Even here, why don't we have such a law? What happens here with the current laws? You go for elections, you get a mad presiding officer or PO, and he announces you are the winner. He announces in public. He's guarded by some youth, and he announces. You know what? That is done. Your recourse is only in a court of law through a petition that will last a minimum of 6 years. And the term is 5. Wow. That is why people resort to very serious actions, knowing that the only thing he has to do is to be announced. Suppose we had laws like the US, Bitok, yeah, that says recount. You understand? When I went to court with Judge Thuo, if this issue was available that day, we would have opened our boxes. We would have recounted. I would have said this is not a good vote because it doesn't have a signature. We found votes, 34,000 of them, that had no signatures. We would have found them the following day. You understand? So the elections would have been nullified that same day because of recount. Make it more public, let the public be able to see and tell whether it was transparent or not. But you have hidden the boxes. Some have gone and chomered the go-downs where the boxes are because they don't want the truth to be known in the boxes. They've been talking about the French servers. Would have made it possible for servers to be opened the next day.
And these guys stop talking about servers being opened. What happened?
But I'm saying, if we are forming, if we want to make Kenya cohesive and peaceful, let us open up and improve our electioneering
transparency.
Laws. Yes.
I'll take you back to business because of something that has been raised here by someone who is watching. And they're saying to start a small eatery in Kenya, you need the following licenses, taxes, and levies. 1, county business permit at shillings 25,000. 2, L certificate shillings 3,000. 3, TRA license 16,000. 4, tourism fund levy 2% of the volume sales. 5, music cooperative society Kenyan shillings 10,000. KRA 16%. Is in these killing small businesses. Honestly, there's need to remove some of these taxes. No wonder many small startups business are closing down. Kabogo, please.
I agree with that entirely. Entirely. What that is telling us is that government or whoever is responsible has said, you little niggers, come and do business and bring 90% to us. That is the story. We have talked in the past about having a one-stop tax regime, right? All your taxes are paid through one bill. And that's what we try to do in KIAMBU, to harmonize taxes and say, for any business, this is all you need to pay. That's it. Once you pay this, that's it. But you'll find every other department, catering levy, I don't know who, health, even they charge for drainage, they charge for sewage, even where there's no sewage. You understand? Yeah. So this is a question of, policy. This does not require the Katiba.
Has a country ever taxed itself to success? Is there any country in the world that has prospered from taxing its citizens?
Never.
Why do we imagine that we
countries that have succeeded on their own? For example, in Lagos finances itself not through increased taxes, but through general improvement of their tax regime. You understand? So that every other person who is supposed to pay taxes pays taxes, and taxes are affordable. You understand? But here, you want to take 40% of what I have made. You understand? Yet we have people here who are supposed to pay taxes, they don't. For example, if I was to stop one quick thing now here, I will stop foreigners from buying land here and subdividing that land and making money and live in the country. We should be able to make it so difficult for them to do capital flight. You understand? Yeah. But we don't look at such things. We only look at how can we get more money from more Kenyans. We should say, like they did recently. I love it. That the tax bracket below 25,000 or 30,000, you are out of the tax bracket. That gives tax holiday to people who cannot afford. We should be able to give relief of education fund. If you're paying education, this is a deductible expense to taxes. You understand what I'm saying? We should be able to let the private sector be able to improve Kenyan infrastructure by giving them tax deductions. For example, if, for lack of a better example, if Bitco company, wanted to fix a very big pothole outside the Garissa Road, they will not do it because it will be a loss to them. Yeah. But if we allow them to fix that road, and whatever money they spend becomes deductible at the income tax level, then that guy will be happy to do any contribution in the area where they're operating from. And that, in a sense, what does it mean? It means that you have allowed taxes to be spent at source. Is that really rocket science?
It's not.
It's not rocket science.
And even push the businesses more to even trade more, because when you trade more and you give more CSR, then it means the less you pay for taxes.
Exactly. If you want young men and women in Thika to access credit, allow the private industry to be able to assess those that they can assist with small loans, give them loans, and allow that money to be given to these traders as exemption to tax. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah. Recently, the government was talking about affordable housing. I'll tell you this. There is nowhere in the world the government can be a developer of homes for its citizens. Allow the private industry, the private sector. I am a developer myself, Bitok. You understand? You get what I'm saying? Allow the private sector, make it easy for the private sector. Tell the banks, for example, here in Kenya, we are the ones who license you to trade by buying and selling money. One condition in your license is that 5% of your portfolio, you understand, will go to housing. 5% of your portfolio, and you shall give it at mortgage rates of 5%. If you do that, the other 5%, government will contribute to you in form of tax rebate. Is that not a win-win situation?
It is.
A Kenyan gets a home at 5%, the bank gets 5% from the mortgage, and government contributes 5%. So government is contributing to those who are paying.
Yeah, wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Is that rocket science?
It's not.
Why can't we do it here in this country?
And my argument was, Mheshimiwa Kabogo, do Kenyans need houses or they need money to buy houses? Because the government can take
Kenyans need the capacity to be able to buy themselves homes.
Yes.
But you kill that capacity when KRA gives an agency notice that business B has failed to pay taxes. They owe us 6 million. So the bank, don't give business B their money, give it to us. That is the only money that business has. It doesn't mean that that's everything it has. It could have assets. But cash is king in business. You can run out of business, a multi-billionaire like me, and run out of business because you don't have 500,000 shillings. Yeah. And you start now looking for ways of selling whatever it is that you have quickly to get back into the cash regime. It's not rocket science. Ni kama ile biashara ya mkokoteni ama ile biashara ya kiosk. If you have no cash, tomorrow you cannot buy Marikiti products. Utafunga. Even if you have a house worth 7 million, utafunga hiyo biashara. So government should be able to facilitate and make laws to facilitate growth of Kenyans.
To further production, that is.
Mupate pesa.
Production. Tupate kakitu.
Mfuko ikuwa na kitu. Ipanuke kidogo, kisha aweze kulipa ushuru.
Kwa sababu mtu ambaye akona pesa, we talk about an empowered citizen who has money, they can buy their own houses, they can pay taxes, they can take their children to school. I mean, why is the government acting like the big brother that wants to take everything and tell us, now but guys, wait for me to feed you?
Sometimes we make mistakes. Yeah. We talk about government. Who is government? In real sense, government is us.
The people.
Yes. Article 1 article?
The preamble of the Constitution.
Article 1 of the Constitution, it says, sovereign authority
Belongs to the people.
belongs to the people.
We the people.
And is articulated by the people themselves directly or through the leaders that they have elected.
I think hapa kwa through ndio tulichomea.
Hapo ndio kwanza we know it is them. So right now, we should voice very quickly, remove this person. This person is not doing what it is, and we are the people.
Then it comes again, we
And if you don't understand this,
cycle.
I want to refer you to Raila swearing in. If the law really works, Raila should have been picked that day. Would have been picked that day. Because he was not the legitimately declared winner. Mark my words.
But he was sworn in.
He was not. But he went and swore himself in.
And that's what I was telling you. The law
But
is
choices have consequences.
consequences.
If we would have picked him, we would have lived with consequences.
Yeah.
But our friend Uhuru Kenyatta is peace-loving. He didn't want to go that road. He may have if he wanted. He had all the powers. But he chose not to.
Right. But
I want to discourage any Kenyan of thinking of going that road.
going to swear themselves. If I go and swear, will the president still treat me well?
Use the laws of the land to articulate and share your problems and deal with them. Let us strengthen our laws. Let me tell you, a country that does not have respect for the rule of law, is a jungle country. Let me tell you what is the rule of law. In the 70s and the 80s, a policeman in a white cap and a small bakora would stop cars, many of them, by show of hand. Park there, 12, 13 cars. And he would go from the first one to the last one dealing with them. If you have a problem, give you a ticket and tell you to go. You understand? That is what you call the rule of law. That man doesn't have a gun. Yeah? There are only 2 officers, but you stop. These days, I've seen a matatu is stopped at Globe Cinema roundabout. And the makangas of 2 matatus, they attack the policeman and bring him to his knees and put a knee on his neck. My friend, that is a recipe for chaos. If you drive a car, and I know you do, avoid a motorbike. If you see a motorbike, please stop. Because if you hit a motorbike, you are likely to lose your life in this country. And this is happening in full glare of the law. Why can't we put our foot down and say, you cannot do that? This country has laws. And you know, Mheshimiwa Orengo, for some reason, he speaks volumes about the rule of law. You understand? You don't agree with the court order. Please go back to court and fight it there. You know this leader of majority, Mheshimiwa Kimunya, is one guy I truly don't like. The beginning of problems in the land division, it is him who said that is just a paper. Title is a paper. And people believed him. People started acting that way. You understand? By the time 5 years were over, there was so much chaos of land titles. A whole minister saying that a title is a paper because he was in power. And he forgot the effects, the literal effect of what you have said. Law and order. If you do not have law and order, you are a chaotic nation, and anything would happen to a chaotic nation. We are defined by those rules. Law, order, and all those things are agreements between us and the state on how we will be governed.
All right.
But when we have an agreement of how you will govern us and people start breaking the law, how the hell do you want everybody else to react?
It will be a problem.
Even the government should follow the rule of law. Once a government has been given a court order by a court, good or bad, go and appeal. You understand? Yeah. Good or bad, go and appeal. So that there is some order. Can you imagine a parliament where there will be no order? How would they articulate their business? How would they do debate if there was no order? The debate there is done, and if you get unruly, the speaker says, order, order, and everything comes to order.
Order.
Yes.
Now, Mheshimiwa, all these other people are very impressed with what you're saying, and they're saying you're full of wisdom. The question, you've said the president is your friend.
Yes, he is. I don't deny my friends.
The president has been sitting here. He's now heading to his 10 years. He's remaining with almost 18 months.
He's heading to his 9th year. They have 9 something,
yes,
not
yes.
10.
He's remaining with 18 months to finish his stuff.
Yes.
All these ideas that you have, and I've actually also come to your place. I've seen the kind of amazing work you're doing, the houses you're building. You have a direct relationship with the government in terms of the policies affect you.
Yes.
You know? The president is your friend.
Yes.
You participated even in the forming of government, which means he has a lot of respect for you.
Yes.
All these ideas you have, do you ever get time to share with him? And what does he have to say?
I get. And if I feel he doesn't pick my phone, I'll send an SMS to him.
What does he say about these ideas? That
He will read and say what he thinks, and sometimes he will not return my messages. You know that a president is a very busy person. I know because I was a governor. I could not attend to all the thousands of SMSs that came through. But something that is a matter of national importance, I expect that the president should be able to grasp it as quickly as possible.
So,
but again, a government is not a person. It's an institution. You understand?
Yeah.
We have 3 levels of government here. We have the judiciary, we have the legislature, and the executive. If every one of them did what it is that they're supposed to do, this country will be great. But we have one attacking the other. We have one denying the other money. We have the one doing this. You know all these shenanigans. If we want to get on the right track, let's allow institutions to do their jobs. Let the executive allow the other 2 arms of government to do what it is that they're supposed to do. And let us wipe out or try and minimize corruption in all 3 arms of government. Don't tell me there's no corruption in the judiciary. You will not belong to Kenya if you tell me that. Don't tell me there's no corruption in legislature here. You know, we went and locked in the 10th parliament that legislators cannot legislate on anything that benefits them and enjoy that benefit. It will be enjoyed by the next parliament. But we have seen them increasing house allowances and things like that. Recently, there was a note that they should return money. This is what we should be following as Kenyans. Watu wadidaktiwe hiyo pesa walijipatia. Warudishe.
There's someone who has thrown in a spanner in the works. We're talking about the rule of law. Yes. And there's someone who is saying, how can we talk about the rule of law in a country that the president does not respect the constitution? He's saying he has disobeyed court orders. Let's talk about the court order to return Meguna. He's also mentioned Maraga.
I said Bitok, and I will not eat my words. Mm-hmm. I said that the rule of law is paramount for a good country. And I have said government, legislature, and others have failed to honor court orders. Mm. We want to honor orders only that are
good for
favorable for us. It's a recipe for chaos. Mm. Yes.
Right.
So why go to court if you know you get a court order and it will have no value?
And you know that there's no need. You know,
it's very painful. It's very painful when you know you are right and you've gotten your justice in court, but it cannot be released to you.
Mm-hmm. There's something on to
we should be able to amend our constitution and say exactly that. A government shall
not may
obey court orders. Shall
not may.
And in the event it doesn't, that is a recipe for asking for a new election. Mm. Because if I'm president and I know if I don't follow court orders, I will have to, if it is proved beyond reasonable doubt, I would have to be thrown out of office for gross misconduct. Nobody will disobey court orders. Mm. Then again, we must make sure that they are not court orders given on the basis of political persuasion. Uchafu iko kila mahali Kenya hii. Saa ingine mimi nasikianga ndugu, nitoke tu, niingie Botswana, ninunue nyumba na nikae. Mahali utafanya biashara ukijua, if you're doing the right things, hakuna shida itakupata. You understand? Saa hii hapa, kuna fununu, ukifanya hii, utafanywa hivi. You understand?
Yeah.
But we have guidelines on how we should operate with each other, which is our laws. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But how often do we agree to follow the rule.
But the question, yesterday I was having a discussion with, I'll just mention David Day, talk about the economy. And I was wondering about the apathy in Central. You come from Central Kenya.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of people are calling you that this was the right kingpin for Central Kenya. Yeah, I'm seeing some serious comments.
What's a kingpin? You know that
I
word is used very, very. The kingpin is. I'll tell you. You know, let's just deviate a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what a kingpin is? Mm-hmm. The kingpin. You know the hub of a truck. The hub of a truck.
Yes.
There is what connects the fixed part of the wheel and the moving one.
And the moving one.
There is a pin there. It's called the kingpin because it holds it together. I don't know whether this kingpin is used in that reference. I would want to imagine so. But I don't mind being called the pin in the mountain. It means people have faith in what it is that I do or say. But to me, that is neither here nor there. What is important is you worry about your house. You understand? Your immediate nuclear family. After that, you worry about your enlarged family. The next thing you worry about is your district. The next thing you worry about is your province. You understand?
Yes.
Charity begins at home. But there's a small problem here in this country. When Kikuyus meet, it becomes an issue. I heard them saying, why is the president speaking in Kikuyu? So we teach him Luo and tell him when he goes to Luo Nyanza, speak Luo. You know, it is wrong for the president maybe to assume that he can only speak to his own people. But at some point, he has a house to go to. I have seen Raila Odinga speak a lot of the Luo when he is in Nyanza. Nobody makes noise. I have seen my buddy, William Ruto, speak Kalenjin, even in my presence. He tells me, let us switch a little bit to Latin. Because he needs to tell these people something in Latin. Yes, allow us to be who we are. But be a national president, because you're not the president of the Kikuyus. He's the president of the Republic of Kenya.
Yeah, sure.
But when we meet as Kikuyu, don't panic. We know the problem. I know the problem. Why people panic when we speak. It's because we are many. And it is not for the love of the bed. It is just by nature. That is who we are. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. And when we intermarry the way we intermarry. Yesterday I was in studio and I had this Jenga call some guy to give, you know the way they say, so-and-so has happened, so-and-so happened, and so has the report. He said something Olo. And it was a Kikuyu station. I was like, wait a minute. So when we finished, I asked him, who is this guy who just read? No, he says he's a Luo. He's a half Luo, half Kikuyu. And I said, great. A half Luo, half Kikuyu is broadcasting in Kikuyu. So I asked, does he also broadcast in Luo? They said they'll find out. I'll be very happy to hear that the guy does this. When is it that we will use our tribes just for cultural issues and not about Kenya, not about governing? I think just as culture.
I think the biggest problem people had actually with the president was the comments he made.
Let me shock you. If you were to find the poorest people in the country in terms of percentage, where do you think you'll get the percentage of poor people?
Poor people? I cannot tell.
I'll tell you in KIAMBU.
KIAMBU?
Yes.
Why KIAMBU?
But out here, in this radio station, you believe that KIAMBU is the richest. I will tell you, KIAMBU has rich people. And it has equally a very large portion of very poor people. The only place probably in the country that now has thatched houses, mud houses. Today. But when the whole world looks at Kikuyus, they think they are the richest. Why don't we create an opportunity for every Kenyan, regardless of his tribe, to have an opportunity to grow? You understand?
Yeah.
To have an opportunity to grow. This is what we need in this country. But when you brand as rich, you deny us resources because you think we are rich. You're misplaced. You are misplaced. Yes, I would like to go to Elgeyo Marakwet and find very many middle-class Kenyans doing their own business. You understand? But there's what we call kamwene. Kamwene means wa nyumbani.
Mutu yetu.
Yes, mutu yetu. And let me tell you, my friend, yeah? Do you think if Uhuru is president, nobody sleeps hungry in central Kenya? Is that what you think?
No, it's a lie.
Do you think if William Ruto becomes president, every Kalenjin will eat a full meal?
You'll be having nyama every day.
You understand? It is not benefiting the tribe. You are elected to benefit the nation and feed your tribe and feed your family, not tribe. No, nobody is supposed to give handouts to Kenyans. Create an opportunity for them to make money for themselves. But we have this notion, Kalonzo becomes president, the Kambas are fine. Let me tell you, mutaendelea na njaa. Hivyo ilivyokuwa, kwa sababu nafasi hiyo sio ya mtu na kabila lake, ni nafasi yake kujitolea vilivyo to set policies and things to guide the country to a better level economically, socially and politically.
All right, good morning.
Good morning, Gerard. How are you?
Salama sana. We can have your headphones, mheshimiwa, usikie simu. Senator. Who am I speaking to?
Headphones on bado. You're speaking to Farid Chepkwony. Yeah, I'm listening to you people. You're giving us great things. I have some few questions for Mheshimiwa.
Very quickly, naona line ni mrefu.
So I was listening to this tackle, and we were concluding that Kenya can write the best reports. The problem is implementing them.
Okay.
Do you think BBI is an exemption from the other reports like the TGRC and any other report that was given out before? Number two, what is his point of view on the president's remarks when he was burying Davadi's mother about rotational presidency?
Okay. So you've talked about...
Number three, does... Yeah? The first one is the report. The second one is his point of view on rotational presidency. Number three, does he see any possibility of either Raila and Ruto working together? If not, what are the reasons hindering these two people from working together? Number four, how far has he reached with the last one? How far has he reached with his ambitions to work Q Bono to fight corruption? Has he addressed the president about this or any other person who can let him do it for free?
All right. So ya kwanza ni report, ya pili mambo ya rotational presidency.
One about the report. I have said.
I'll take the comments for you.
I've said.
I'll take them. Now I'll draw to you. Hello, good morning. They are still here. Very quickly, Osabu ya line.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, I'm Samia Kachiwarui. Now,
yes.
My question is, to former governor and the first governor of KIAMBU, does he have any intention to vie as a governor in KIAMBU, or what is his next political move?
Okay.
On advising the president, what does he think? What does the president have to do? Like now, he has 18 months left in office, and what is the best move he can do for the country to be stable and at least live a better country? Thank you.
Right. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Jared.
Sema.
Nimependa discussion leo. Kabogo ameongea hapo kama mwanaume mwenye tunajua ni yeye. But the biggest issue nimekuwa naye hapo kwa hiyo the whole discussion niyo kusema ati ana shida ya Uhuru kuongea in traditional language. But the thing is this, talking in your local dialect is not a problem. But inciting your community against your own deputy president, hapo ndi hatujakubaliana naye.
Huyo anafaa kujibiwa saa hiyo. Anafaa kujibiwa saa hiyo. Mimi sikusema ni sawa Mheshimiwa Rais incite community against DP. That was never discussed. We only discussed using allow me to respond. Allow me to respond.
Okay.
I was referring to speaking Kikuyu. not about against the deputy president. I am against any politician inciting his community against any individual or any community. I am against.
Yeah, but the issue is this, is that what we get from them, talking about development is not a problem. Telling the BI is not an issue. But you may say that your deputy is doing this and that. Well, you know clearly that the deputy president has always supported the president.
Hao wenyewe wako na shida zao kama binadamu. Watokezee waseme, wewe tulifanya kazi na wewe, ni nini mbaya ilipatikana? Deputy aseme yake, president aseme yake, Wakenya waambie jameni, tuliwachagua mkiwa pamoja. Can you sort out your personal differences?
Yeah, because the biggest problem we have in Kenya is political deceit and betrayal. And the issue is that this one is a deputy.
You are talking to an experience. You are talking to an experienced political betrayed. I have been betrayed very many times. Well, now, Uchungwa, let me tell you, the pain of the shoe, it is where it presses. So I understand. Yeah. I don't envy the problems of President Kenyatta and William Ruto. It was in our original party, TNA and URP, and I feel the pain. But I'm only an individual like yourself.
Yeah, and I think as a country, we really need to talk about the issues about political betrayal. We saw what happened in Southern Sudan between Salva Kiir and Riek Machar. Two people who fought for the country to get independence, and at the end of the day,
I hope they are listening. I hope they are listening to you.
This person went to the other side, assembled his group. The other one went to his side, assembled his group, and we saw what has happened to Southern Sudan. A young country that is very unstable. It's at the brink of breaking up totally. You see? And the issue, the biggest disappointment I have with the president is allowing the disintegration of the Jubilee party.
Mm-hmm. I hope Mr. Kenyatta is listening to you.
And Gerard, even you remember the other day I said, the biggest problem we have is lack of strong political parties. Mm-hmm. You cannot advance democracy without strong political parties.
Let me ask you, brother, will you join my party?
Yeah, you can give me a call. This is my number.
I will join. I will call you definitely tuunde party ya kujenga taifa.
Yeah, because if you don't have strong democracy, mtu mwenye ako Samburu hawezi simama president.
Kweli.
You see, somebody from Turkana, he cannot be a president. But if you have a strong party, and this individual from Turkana is strong enough to run for president, the party will support him.
Asante sana ndugu yangu, kuwa na siku njema.